Hi guys, hello. My name is Tato Komalo. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. As you would have seen from the title, I am going to be telling you guys a little story time about my experience during the electricity outage that took place on the 28th of April in Spain, Portugal, and parts of France. I was in Barcelona, Spain from the 25th till the 29th of April. We were supposed to leave on the 28th, but we ended up leaving on the 29th because of the electricity outage. So I'm going to be telling you about me and my friends lived experience during the electricity outage and what it felt like, and how things started unraveling from a minute by minute, hour by hour basis. Okay, it was a lot. So I am recording this on the 4th of May, and I'm going to be releasing the story time on the 5th of May. And if you've been following the story, then you'll know that there is no conclusive understanding about exactly what happened at the time. They haven't ruled out human error, they haven't ruled out cyber attack, they haven't ruled out an atmospheric phenomenon. I think Portugal and Spain are going into renewables or they're exploring renewables, so it might be linked to that. I will be attaching in the description box a very detailed article that takes you through what was happening on the ground in different parts of Portugal and different parts of Spain. This is just about our lived experience at the time. Good news is, though, this is not like your typical story time where you'll just be looking at me telling you a story. I will be inserting in footage. So to the extent that I'm talking about something and I have footage of it, I will be inserting the footage. Look, at some point my camera battery ran out and the space on my SD card ran out. So I couldn't take any footage on my using my camera, but my phone was on hand. So the quality is a bit shaky, but at least it will give you visually just an idea, just a little bit of an idea about what was happening on the ground. Okay, formalities are out. Let's start. So, okay, around a little bit of a backstory. So mid-Jan 2025, we book our flights to go to Barcelona in Spain. So our trip was supposed to take place from the 25th of April and then return on the 28th of April. On the 27th of April was my birthday, so this was last week Sunday. It wasn't a birthday trip. It just so happened that, the timing of our booking, my birthday was at that time. So I even have I had it. Yeah, so I even have the flight ticket here. I usually throw these away, but this one I was like, maybe I should keep it. So yeah, there we go. If you can see the date there, 29th of April was when we returned, even though we were scheduled to return on the 28th of April. Okay, no problem. So we fly from Heathrow to Barcelona airport. I think our flight was around 9:55. We land at Barcelona. It takes about 2 hours and some change to get to Barcelona. We land, we have a bit of a delay at the airport, but that's a story for another day. And then we go and check into our hotel. Okay, the 25th happens, the 26th, then 27th is my birthday. Fast forward to the 28th. I am a vlogger if you're new to this channel, so I will be posting a Barcelona vlog, but this is purely focused on the 28th of April when the electricity outage happened. So I'm going to skip all those details and fast forward to Monday, 28th of April. Okay. Hi, 28th of April is the Monday now, right? We are scheduled to fly back to the UK. Now, Monday, our flight back was at 18:40. So to get to the airport from our hotel was about a 20 to 35 minute drive. So, it was close enough. So we're like, whatever activities that we didn't manage to do during the trip, we're going to try and squeeze as much as we possibly can on the Sunday. Not too much to miss our flight. No, no, no. But we're going to squeeze in as much as we can. So the activities for Sunday were Park Guell, Sagrada Familia. This is the famous church. If you Google Barcelona, people have said they've gone to Barcelona, they go to that church. So Sagrada Familia, I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm not, I do apologize. And then we were going to see how time was progressing. I would have done the Gothic Quarter, and I think my friend was going to do a museum, like the White Rabbit Museum. Our day is going well, right? We pack, and then we check out of the hotel and leave our bags there at reception. No problem. We call an Uber. We head out to Park Guell. Park Guell is a park, but this is a different kind of park, guys. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. As a person, like, take it from me, I don't go visit countries and go to parks. But this one is very, very different. It's very rich. There's a lot to see, like the structures. Yeah, it's just rich. So we go to Park Guell, great time, take pics. As we're walking out of Park Guell, again, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. As we're walking out of Park Guell, we're like, let's start calling the Uber now, you know, to make our way to the famous cathedral. Okay, no problem. So now we get our phones to start calling the Uber, but then we notice that the network is like 1 bar or nothing. Then it's back to 1 bar or nothing. Now, network issues in Barcelona is something we're familiar with, because at any given point in time, let's say we separate ways for a little bit and we need to call and find out, hey, where are you, that type of thing. We're likely to have network issues. Even at our hotel, you know, the Wi-Fi was very slow, etc. But network issues are not an unfamiliar thing were not an unfamiliar thing during our trip in Barcelona. So we're like, you know what? Okay, maybe the issue is the network in the park. Let's get out of the park and wait at the entrance and call the Uber there. Brr, we get out of the park. How? Still, network issues. Bar is 1 or 0. Bar is 1 or 0. We then say, okay. And the problem with that is that we couldn't even use any internet. Okay, so we couldn't Google Maps to find out how far will be the walk. Can we use a bus? Our only alternative was to use a taxi. Also, we are running against time, so things need to happen very quickly. Okay, we start seeing people are flagging down taxis. We're like, okay, let's just do the same thing. No problem. At this point, it's around midday, past midday. Now, at the time, we now know, we didn't know then. The electricity outage happened around that time. Around midday, 12:30, that's when the electricity outage happened. So we were still in the unknowing phase. Okay, we managed to flag down a taxi. We're like, we're going to the famous church. She's like, no problem, it's close by. Getting to the taxi, brrr, we head to the church. Guys, we get there now. Like, in a blink of an eye, we're there. So I'm like, okay, as he stops the cab. I'm like, let me take out my card to swipe. I'm like, card machine. He's like, no, you can't use card machine because there's no electricity. We only take cash. Cash where? Cash is king where? Hi, guys, my friend doesn't have cash. I don't have cash, nothing. Now, as a basic principle for myself, when I travel, when you get to that country, you need to withdraw cash, because yes, card is king here in the UK. Some countries, cash really is king. So you need to have cash. This particular trip, I was so relaxed. I didn't even, like, I probably thought about taking out cash at the airport, but I was like, the airport, the charges there in the machines there are not so So, and then it just slipped my mind. I never thought about it again. Never again. Whatever good practice you have, guys, when you travel, stick to it. Now, this is the one trip where I didn't withdraw cash, and it's the one trip where I needed cash. Hi, now I start searching my bag, because this guy's like, he's like, where you guys from? We're like the UK. He's like, he'll accept pounds. I will start searching. Maybe I'll find £1, £2, something. Nothing. The cab is £7. Now we were standing next to a, let me call it bank for now, but it's one of those places that you go and you exchange currencies. So we're standing next to it. I spot it. I'm like to this guy, oh, can I quickly go to the ATM or the bank, and then my friend will stay in the car, will come back. The cab driver's like, no, banks are not working, electricity is out. How? You know, when he says that the second time, now you start looking around, you're like, oh, that restaurant, like, it's black, like there's no light. Oh, that shop, there's no light. Now it starts clicking properly, you know. Then the cab driver's like, okay, no, it's fine. You guys didn't know, and the trip was only €7. It's fine. It's on me. You guys didn't know. Yo, guys, we felt so bad. Yo, we were apologizing. We felt so bad. Me, I was like, hey, I'll get your WhatsApp. Hey. The cab driver's like, no, don't worry about it. You didn't know. We get out of the car. Guys, at that point, when we get out, I'm like to my friend, let me quickly go to the bank and hear what they say. Maybe we can get some money. I get into the bank. The guy at the reception, I'm like, hey, is it possible for us to withdraw money? He's like, no, there's no electricity, so there's nothing we can do. I'm like, okay, do you know when it's coming back? Me, I'm a South African. Electricity doesn't go out forever. There are schedules, you are alerted. So I'm like, do you know when it's coming back? He's like, no, we don't know. This has never happened before. How? Okay. I come out. Now, me and my friend, we can see this church. This church is right next to us. This big, beautiful church. We could see the beauty, but it didn't register. Because at that point, yeah, we are sour. You know when you're like, you know when you're just like, I don't want to be part of anything now. I just want to go home. I want to sit down. It was, we were at that state now because we don't have cash. Our internet is not working. We can't use Google Maps. We don't know how far we are from home. Even if we're tempted to walk, what are we going to start doing? Now we know we can't even take Ubers because we don't have cash. How are we going to Google a bus, train, when we have no internet? But I'm like, okay, it's fine. We take videos, find a good angle, we take the necessary videos and pictures. My friend was even over it. He didn't even want even one picture. I was like, no, man, just take one picture. We took pictures, and then, you know, just went to go find a seat at the park, and we started now looking for an Uber. Okay, my friend's internet was not working at all. Mine was starting to come alive a little bit, alive enough for us to manage to get an Uber. Okay, we ordered the Uber. Now we wanted to take us back to the hotel. Remember, we had other activities to do, but we're like, you know what? We don't know what is happening, how serious the situation is. We don't have cash. It's safer to go to the hotel and then make our way to the airport. No problem. Uber, 12 minutes away. Well, hopefully. But then this 12 minutes is for, it's sitting at 12 minutes for like 3 minutes. Okay. Then 11 minutes away. We sit 11 minutes away. It's 11 minutes away for 4 minutes, 3 minutes. That type of vibe. Finally gets to 10 minutes. 10 minutes was the killer. 10 minutes. Guys, we waited 10 minutes. Uber, you are here. Uber, we called you. Did you hear us? Uber, where are you? 30 minutes. It was sitting at 10 minutes for 30 minutes. I think it went slightly to 9 minutes, slightly, but I was sitting at 10 minutes for 30 minutes. I think that's when I went to do a talking video or something. And then I returned to my friend. Okay. Now we're sitting 30 minutes. At some point I go sit down at the pavement. I was like, oh, because we didn't manage to get seats at the park, which is, I think, just standing under a tree. I was like, I need to sit down. I went to sit down at the pavement. Guys, you see at the pavement, because now we are really, really close to the road. That's how you get the severity now of the situation. Yeah. Guys, let me break down the severity now of the situation and take it from me as a South African. As South African, we experience what we call load shedding. This is when there's an electricity outage. It is called load shedding. Now, when there's load shedding in South Africa, it is scheduled, it is planned, okay? So it happens on an area by area basis, right? It doesn't just happen at the same time the whole country. It's an area by area basis, and there's a schedule. So if you live in London, example, I don't know, Canary Wharf, your electricity will go out, as an example, from 10 till midday. Okay, that's maybe also there are levels to it as well. So go out from 10 till midday, and then on the same day might go out again from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. But there's a schedule, and there's a schedule for the period of time. So if you're going to have load shedding for a week, there'll be a schedule for that week. So you can plan around it, because you know when you won't have electricity. You can plan your things around it, and it doesn't go out at the same time. So yes, Canary Wharf might have the load shedding, but Greenwich doesn't at the time. So I can go do things in Greenwich or whatever the case is. I hope I'm making sense. So it doesn't happen across the board. You need to understand that this is very different. Very different. This electricity outage happened countrywide. Imagine the whole of England, the entire England not having electricity at the same time. All of South Africa not having electricity at the same time. That is what was happening. And it's not just you, it's also your neighboring country. You know what I mean? So it's Portugal, it's Spain at the same time, and parts of France. Guys, it was bad. It was bad. So number one, because there's no electricity, there was an internet outage. So that in itself creates confusion, because you can't Google to find out what's happening, just from a knowledge perspective. Two, you can't do simple things like calling an Uber. Okay? You can't Google Maps to find your way around the city if you're a tourist. You can't get a hold of your loved ones. Traffic lights were down. In fact, before I get to traffic lights, ATM's screen is black. You can't access money. Banks don't have electricity. Everyone doesn't have electricity. So you can't access money in any shape or form. Shops that are open, restaurants that are open, are only taking cash. These are restaurants that I am assuming restaurants that could give you something like, okay, they're willing to be open for drinks, so you can buy drinks, or maybe they have sandwiches, I'm assuming. But restaurants that had to cook things, I don't know, guys, that aren't using gas, I don't even know what the situation was. Those were shut down. Okay, so if you're roaming around the street hungry as hell, you have kids who are hungry, you need to eat, to drink your medication, traffic lights were not working. So there was bumper to bumper traffic. It was a Monday. This is a working day We were there on holiday. So you have a combination of Barcelona as a tourist city. So there's a lot of tourists in general. And then it's a Monday. So people are commuting to and from work, to and from school. Guning, it's a lot. Electricity, trains stopped working, so trains are not working at all. So the only rail mode of transport that was working, public mode of transport, was a bus and your Ubers. If you can access your Uber, and then people who have cars were fine. I don't know about Tesla people with electricity cars, how you guys were coping, but we're not there. So trains are not working. Hospitals, I guess, were on, from what we read, hospitals will obviously have backup power that they use. Airports also had backup electricity. So we eventually at some point checked if our flight was still going ahead, and it was going ahead. So basically, I'm just creating that scenario. So it was bad, guys. It wasn't like load shedding where it's a small area of small part of the city. No, it was countrywide and the neighboring country as well. And the effects around how they share electricity, and the electricity was restored. They got some of the electricity back with the assistance of France and was it Morocco? I don't even know. But yeah, so that's the severity of the situation. Okay, so then we realized, look, Uber is not coming. We've been here for 30 minutes or so. It's not coming. What's the alternative now? Let's try and figure out Google Maps. Let's try and figure out to get home. Finally, my internet connection becomes strong enough for Google Maps to start working. So we Google our way back home. It would have been a 51-minute walk. Or we take the bus. Okay, I quickly take a screenshot. I'll set the screenshot of the bus number and the bus route. Because in case this electricity, my network becomes bad again, at least we've got a screenshot of this. Then I'm like, okay, fine. Let's walk to the ticket office that's just outside the cathedral to just ask them where this bus stop is. We get there. Well, we're looking for this bus stop. We need bus 33, if I'm not mistaken, bus 30 something. The lady's like, oh no, it's not far. It's like 2 streets away. She directs us. No problem. So I'm like to her, what is happening exactly? She's like, oh, there's no electricity throughout Spain and most of Europe. She's like, throughout Spain and most of Europe. We're like, hey. Guys, inside I was like, terrorism. I'm bombs in my head. I didn't say it to that lady, but in my head I was like, guys, we are trapped. We are trapped. If things start flying from the air, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Yay! But I'm like, okay, it's fine. We're still trying to get home. Okay, we go to the bus stop. Bus stop is packed. Guys, this was abnormal. Even though we don't live there, this was it was packed. The bus stop was packed. Okay, other buses start coming. Buses are full. We see that buses are full. People are pushing and shoving inside, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? Our bus is clearly going to be full, but hopefully it won't be that full. Our bus arrives. We know. We're ready now. We're ready. We've seen from the other buses that it's a push and shove. We're all pushing in. We're all trying to get to our next destination. We push in. Guys, the way there was understanding in the pushing, no one was making a noise. No one was complaining. No one was complaining about being pushed and shoved. It was consensus. We are here now. There was a mutual agreement and understanding that, yay, to get out of the bus, if you are getting out, we will allow you to get out, and then we shove in. We shove into the bus. Guys, we get into the bus. Okay, the bus, everyone is standing on top of each other. It's fine. Everyone is fine. Hi, we travel in the bus. At some point, push and shove. Me and my friend get separated. At some point, I end up getting a seat. I'm like, oh, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. Because where I was standing, the lady needed to get out. So I had to move for her. She got out and then I slipped into the seat. No problem. We get to our destination, go to the hotel. The hotel is pitch black. Dark, pitch black. There's a restaurant area at the hotel. The people working there just chilling, hanging out, like it's dark. The receptionist was able to get our bags and we started calling the Uber, walking towards the hotel. This time around, my my network served us so well, but this time around it wasn't working. So my friend eventually managed to get enough power network to call an Uber. Same thing. Uber 12 minutes for 5 minutes. Yeah, it's 12 minutes for 5 minutes. Then 11 minutes for 6 minutes. Then it gets to 10 minutes. It stays there. Uber, we called you. Uber, you are here. Uber, are you a myth? Uber, where are you? Uber, what is Uber? Maybe there's no Uber. Guys, Bolt was like, I'm not gonna play with you. Bolt was like, I'm not a liar. Bolt was like, no drivers available. Bolt was like, I ain't even trying to play with you. I'm not trying to play with your emotions. Bolt was like, no drivers available immediately. Immediate. Okay. So then I said to my friend, look, at some point we need to call it. We need to call it and say, if this Uber hasn't arrived by this particular time, we're leaving. So that cutoff point that we made was 3:30, like from 3:15 to 3:30. That was our cutoff point. Uber doesn't arrive. Remember, Uber is a figment of our imagination at this point. We go. Okay. We've seen the bus route because our network was starting to work now. A little bit was starting to work. So we take screenshots, we walk, we make our way to the bus route. Now, this particular route to get to the airport using buses, we're going to use two buses. So it's the bus from our neighborhood that will take us to the bus stop with the airport buses, where there are airport buses. Okay, we get into the first bus, no problem. This bus was even much better. Like, I got in immediately and I had space to sit. Other people, like, people were standing in that bus. There weren't a lot of seats available. Some people were standing by choice. What I'm trying to say is that particular bus to go to the next bus stop was not as hectic. Maybe it's because of the route or whatever the case is. So it wasn't as hectic, fairly comfortable, nice. We get in with our bags, we go. Brrr. How? We get to the bus stop where there are airport buses. I don't know if you guys have been in an airport bus, but an airport bus is clearly marked. It's like the bus that I use when I go to Heathrow Airport. It's written Rail Air. These are buses that go directly to the airport. Hi. Guys, we get to that bus stop. Bus stop is packed. Packed with people and their luggage. It is packed. When we get there, so we stand there. We are overhearing a group of ladies who are like, these buses like are full. So they've missed like one or two buses. They've missed it while they were standing there because the buses are full. So already it's like, okay. And so the ladies are like, the buses are full and they are delayed, understandably, because traffic lights are not working. So they're like, the buses are delayed, they're coming not at the scheduled time. Yo, guys. Guys, the bus arrives. Bus is packed. And remember, the bus is not only catering for human beings. The bus is catering for human beings and their luggage. So it's also a different kind of pact. Because if it was just human being to human being pact, we would have made it into that bus. But it's a human being and your bag. You can't leave your bag behind. That bus, guys, it stopped there. I don't even know if the door opened. I don't even know if one person came out. But maximum 2 people went into that bus, if anyone, because it was so chaotic. People were rushing to the door of the bus that I didn't even get a clear image of exactly what was going on. But I think the door did open, and if it did, it either let one person in and let one person out and one person in. Guys, at that point we're looking at the time. Everyone is looking at the time. Bear in mind, the ladies we found there, one of them ran to flag down a taxi. The taxi flagged down, and she took some of her friends and they went into the taxi and went to the airport. So when we saw that happening, people are like, yeah, now we must start considering taking a taxi to the airport. That's when the Hunger Games start. Survivor, Hunger Games. We start negotiating now. Okay, are you taking a taxi? Yes, we're taking a taxi. Okay, people are negotiating. How many of you? It's the 2 of us. It's 1 of me, or 2 and 2 taxis take 4. Your average taxi, guys. We are not going to assume you're going to get a big taxi. We're assuming it's the average car. Okay, 4. I don't have a lot of luggage, so it's all gonna fit. Okay, we're taking a taxi with you. With us, a guy says, Terminal 1, who's going to Terminal 1? I'm like, we're going to Terminal 1. He's like, okay, how many of you? I'm like, oh no, it's me and my friend. He's like, okay, it's him and his girlfriend. I think that's what he said initially. Like, it's him and his girlfriend. So, and the other friend. So I picked that up that, okay, it's actually 3 of them and 2 of us. However, let's see how this goes. We're still forming this alliance because we need, first of all, the cost of getting to the airport. Also, there are not a lot of taxis in that area. So we really needed to help each other out. So we formed an alliance now. Okay, we formed an alliance with these people. I then go, I'm like, you know what, instead of us waiting here, I'm going to go down, because then, then I catch the cab first before it reaches this area and I stop it there. Sharp. I go down. Guys, within a few, I don't even think it took 3 minutes. I flagged down a cab, it stopped. One thing about me also, I'm a survivor. Me, you must put me in stressful situations. I will make my way through. Flag down the cab, right? When I flag it down, I call my friend. I'm like, found a cab, come. I'm like, guys, we found a cab. This is our alliance people, right? This is our alliance people. Flag down the cab. Then I say to as they're coming, my friend and our alliance partners, I say to the cab driver, card. He's like, no, cash. I knew he was going to say cash, obviously. But me, I'm like, I'm just taking chances. I'm hoping by some miracle we can negotiate to get to the airport and give him cash there. We're not going to run away. I'm hoping we can negotiate around that. He's like, no, cash. At that point, he had already put my luggage in the boot. This particular driver does not speak any English. Most of the drivers in Barcelona, spoke good English. They spoke English. We could conversate and everything. This particular man only spoke Spanish. So it was hard for me to even try and communicate the idea I had. Would say, get us to the airport, we'll give you money there. Luckily, our alliance partners, the guy who said Terminal 1 is Spanish. They start negotiating. We can't hear what they're saying. But from what we could pick up from what they were saying, this cab driver was charging everyone, was going to charge per person. Remember, it's their market now, demand and supply. Remember, it's their market. And Uber doesn't charge per person. He was going to charge per person. He was going to charge 15 euro per person. 15 euro for 4 of us. Okay. So what they negotiated, this guy and his girlfriend lived there. They were just helping out their friend who was from France. So they were helping her out to get her a cab or to get her the bus to get to the airport. But they were not joining us. That's why our alliance ended up working, because it was actually just going to be me, my friend, and this lady that they were helping out. So what they negotiated was that they're going to pay cash for their friend because they had cash. However, we were going to pay at the airport. If we couldn't pay at the airport because the speed point is either still not working, then their friend was going to pay for us, and then we were going to pay her back as soon as we could, or as soon as we landed in the UK. Guys, it became a trust system. You know what a trust system is? Trust system. I am taking you by your word. I am trusting that what you are saying you're going to do, you're going to do it. Hunger Games. Remember, we trusted each other with the alliance. I'm the one who flagged down the cab. So, you know, at least I met some part of the deal. Now, it was a trust that at least the cab driver could trust that someone has paid me, someone has given me my 15 euros. Now, they are guaranteeing that if the rest of these passengers cannot pay, this girl will pay the rest. She has enough money. She will pay the rest. Now the cab driver had to trust that we will pay the rest. This girl had to trust that as soon as we can, or we land in the UK, or if we can do it in the airport, we're going to pay her back. It became a trust system. Guys, okay, now we're getting in, we're comfortable. Cab driver, there's one lady who runs and she's like, oh, is there space? Is there space? The cab driver's like, yeah, the space. We're like, yes, the space, come in, come in. She comes in. So now there's a fourth person. She speaks Spanish. So she was able to talk to the driver because she spoke Spanish. Brrr, airport. Now we're talking, what's happening? Hey, we don't know what's happening. We don't know, you know, everyone, there's speculations there in the taxi, but no one actually knows what's happening. So fast forward, we get to the airport. When we get to the airport, he tries his speed point. So he activates it. It works. We're like, oh, thank you, Jesus, God, please. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, God, for having our back. We tap. We go. He continues with the other lady going to Terminal 2. We go in. Guys, at that point, we had missed the flight. Our flight is at 18:40. Check in when you needed to check. We couldn't check in online. Remember, we didn't have internet. Also, because our passports is the South African passport with a Schengen visa, we did need to go to the counter anyways, in general. Guys, it's packed. It's packed. The lines, it's packed. We were late, but we still had hope. So we get into the queue. As we're standing in that queue, I'm like, let's just go ask, you know, because maybe our flight might have been delayed. So maybe there's hope in that sense. I get to one of the people who work at the airport. He's like, look, your flight has left. You need to go to the airline counter. My friend is like, no. Let's still try whatever. So we go to last minute check-in. The queues are much smaller. And in that queue, they do announce that if you are on this flight, the gates are about to close. So then they prioritize you. You get into the front of the line. So that's also part of the reason why that queue was also very slow. But it made sense because they were prioritizing people. So we're like, maybe if our flight is still here, they'll prioritize us. Eventually, guys, a guy joins us. We're on the same flight as him. He's like, you know what, let me go ask. He goes and asks. They're like, no, forget about it. The flight has left. Shame, which is what the other guy had already told me anyways. So then we go to the airline counter. Guys, that flight I'm sure that flight had 10 people, because the way that counter was so packed, I'm like, that flight had 10 people, I'm sure. Guys, we get there, that queue 2 hours long. Two hours long. 2 hours. But also, again, let me reiterate, no drama. People were moving calmly. I think I did see one person who was on the floor, and they were being helped by, the ambulance or some, emergency staff there. But otherwise, smooth sailing. I did feel bad for the moms that had little children, for elderly people, because there wasn't okay, if you're a mom, if you're pregnant, if you're an elderly, come to the front of the line. There was none of that. So everyone was queuing. Like, everyone was just, we were all in this together, carrying our burdens together. I think at that point, because we were at the airport, there was electricity, so I could get some food. My friend was just like, he wants to get to the front of the line. He's not interested in anything. Like, I bought us, I don't even think he drank the Coca-Cola that I got for him. So yeah, we queued 2 hours. So from Heathrow Airport, with our particular airline, Heathrow to Barcelona, only had 2 flights on a daily basis. It's the 7:30 flight in the morning, and it's the 18:40 in the evening. So those were the only 2 options. The only option we could get was the 7:30 flight in the morning. Okay, we get that flight. It's obviously for free, because there's an issue nationwide. So the flight was, to change the flight was for free, no penalty at all. Guys, we were sorted then. We're like, okay, let's go get something to eat. We haven't eaten the whole day. Go to the restaurant. At that point, now while we're sitting there, we are obsessed now with trying to get accommodation. Obviously, accommodation, the criteria for accommodation was, you must be either here at the airport, linked to the airport, or close enough that if push comes to shove, we can walk to the airport. That was the one criteria. Or you had airport shuttle. Guys, the only places close to the airport, no space, obviously. The hotels that are close to the airport or linked to the airport, obviously, they're fully booked at this point, understandably. The ones with airport shuttle are private hosts. Me, personally, I don't trust private hosts. I've never booked under a private host. But I was like, let's try and call them. Phone lines are not working. Obviously, you can't call anyone. So then my friend goes and asks the guy who we're in the queue with, who was on the same flight as us. He asked him, okay, what are you planning on doing? The guy's like, the guy is also from Barcelona, but no, he's from outside of Barcelona, but he's from Spain. So he's from outside Barcelona, but he was just going to Heathrow or England or wherever he was going. So that's why he was on that flight. He's like, he's been, hearing that the situation is only going to get worse, that the following day on the 29th, they're actually going to cancel buses. So he wouldn't dare leave the airport. So we're like, cool, no problem. We're not leaving the airport. Guys, the airport is packed. Airport is packed. We're in the restaurant. When you can see in the restaurant that people are just sitting now. They've ordered, they've eaten their food, but now they're just sitting. Because where are you going to go? People start securing their places. Progressively, when you start seeing people are putting their spots on the floor. People are putting their spots on the floor. Guys, there are people with children, elderly people. It was terrible. At some point, I'm like, I need to lie down properly. So then I go find my spot at the airport and I sleep on the floor. I think I only managed to get some rest for about 35 minutes before my friend woke me up at around 4:30 a.m. to go to the check-in kiosk, because you needed to check in 2 hours before. Our flight was at 7:30, so we needed to get there at 5:30. So around 4:30, we then made our way to the desk. Again, packed, but Anyways, I've spoken a lot, but yes, I hope I had enough footage to capture what was happening on the ground, especially at the airport. Like, it was bad, guys. And you know, when you're sitting there at the airport, a lot of things start running in your mind. You're just like, what is going to happen? Are we safe? Will things start dropping from the air? Oh, guys, when I tell you, it felt like the end of times. It felt some people were like, it felt like The Walking Dead. Okay, for me, it felt like Hunger Games. Yabona lapha, it was every man for himself. We were in it together. But I was like, should shit hit the fan here at this airport? Yeah. That's what it felt like. It was like, what if people come in here and start pew, 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 doing funny things? Oh, guys, it was calm. It was worrying, but it really did help that everyone around you is calm. You know, no one is panicking, no one is shouting, no one is screaming. Everyone just has calmness about it. That did help alleviate some of the overthinking and the fears. Futi, cyber attacks, I'm like, cyber attack? What if you attack my plane there, up there? What if things are flying while my plane is flying? Anyways, we survived. We survived to tell the tale. We made it to the other side of the airport. On the other side, shops were working. Airport lounge, we were at our airport lounge. Everything was working. So, you know, you could take a shower, you could eat. Oh, guys, you could nap, which is what I did. Shouldn't have, but that's what I did. It was an experience of a lifetime. I think if anyone would go through these experiences and see a silver lining to it, it will probably be me, because I'm like, okay, now I got a story to tell. I was in the thick of things when that happened. Oh, you remember that electricity outage, which was the worst electricity outage that has ever happened in Spain and Portugal in their lifetime? Oh, I was there. So I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I'm like, yeah, I was in the thick of things. Like, I was inside the tornado. Like, when the volcano was erupting, I could feel the ash. I could feel the sand starting to get hot. And that's me. Yeah, that's it. That's the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was entertaining. Bye.